If you have been here for a while, then you know that I have told you bits and pieces of a story. I'm not going to tell it again now. I'm not going to tell you even the bits and pieces again now. This is not the time or the place for it. But if you went back and listened to old sermons or read old sermons, you could put together a lot of the details, a lot of the sequence, a lot of the stuff. And it is a simple truth that I have been burned by the church. I've been hurt by the church. I've been wounded by the church. Not, of course, this church, not this congregation, barely even any particular church, just by people who claim to follow Christ, by people who claim the name Christian, by people who say we belong to Christ. And in that, I am not alone. A lot of people have been burned by the church. A lot of people have been hurt by the church. A lot of people have been wounded by the church. Probably people in this room. Probably people in this sanctuary. Some folks have been burned up close. Some folks have probably been burned by me. And some folks have been burned from a distance. The church, as we sometimes say, is a hospital for sinners, not a museum for saints, and the church is far from perfect. We are far from perfect. Everyone who claims the name Christian is far from perfect. And sometimes we are hurt, and hurt people hurt people. In our reading today, Jesus is having a little bit of an argument with the Pharisees. He is calling them out. He is telling them, here is the problem with you guys. And I want to think that he is not doing this out of meanness or anger, but out of love. These are people who he knows. These are people who he debates. These are people who he argues with. And when you argue with someone for long enough, a friendship forms. And when you're friends with someone for long enough, arguments take shape. But he is telling them, here is the problem with you guys, you Pharisees, you scribes, you people who know the law. You focus on the wrong things. You pay your tithes on mint and dill and cumin. You forget about justice and mercy. You wash the outside of the cup and the outside of the plate, and they look shiny. But as soon as anybody gets close, they can see what's actually going on, and the insides are gross. You're like whitewashed tombs. Beautiful on the outside, but full of death and filth on the inside. And let's face it, beautiful on the outside and not very good on the inside. Beautiful on the outside and icky on the inside. Beautiful outside and gross on the inside doesn't work because people don't stay at a distance. People don't look at you from far off. People don't look at us from far off. Eventually, they come close. And as soon as they come close, they can see what's going on inside. I really wish that this were just a critique of the Pharisees. That this was just a critique of the scribes, that this was just an internal thing to Jesus and these folks who he knows. But obviously, this is also a critique of the church. This is a critique of Christians. This is a critique of those who claim, like us, to follow Christ. It is easy, it is so easy, to focus on the outside, on the appearance of things, on the outside of that cup, and neglect the inside. And the outside can be beautiful, and the inside can be gross. Like I said, I've been burned by the church. Like I said, many people have been burned by the church. If you want the number one criticism of the church, not this church, not any particular church, the very idea of church is that churches are full of hypocrites, of people who really work hard to look good on the outside and don't so much feel good on the inside. Of buildings and communities that are beautiful from a distance. The stock photos on the website are amazing. But once you show up, it just doesn't work. The world is full of churches that proclaim love and fail to love. The world is full of churches that proclaim welcome and fail to welcome. The world is full of churches that say one thing and do another, and people are used to churches that say one thing and do another. Even to the extent that there are so many people who expect churches to say one thing and do another. Every church says it's great for kids. So many aren't. Every church says you are welcome here. So many do not make that welcome. Every church says we love you, and so many do not. We're in this sermon series called The Cup of Blessing, so I'm going to focus on this cup. I'm going to focus on this cup that Jesus talks about. You wash the outside of the cup, but the inside is not clean. The outside looks beautiful, but the inside isn't working. The outside is gorgeous. You would think that this is the most expensive cup in the world. On the inside is sour wine. That is what so many experience. That is what I have experienced. I have no doubt that for some of you, that is what you have experienced. Someplace, somehow. And so Jesus is telling us this truth. Clean the inside of the cup. Clean the inside of the cup, and the outside will become beautiful. It is impossible. It is impossible to be a community that welcomes other people and not have that shine through. It is impossible to be a congregation that loves other people and not have that love overflow. It is impossible to follow Christ, to follow Jesus, to walk down this road that leads, yes, to a cross and to a tomb, but also to eternal life, and not have that shine through. Whatever is on the inside of the cup, whatever is cleaning it, sloshes out and gets the outside of the cup as well. And so this is the important work. Not to focus on looking good, but to focus on being good, to focus on doing good, not to focus on looking welcoming, not to just put out the banners. that say all are welcome here, not to just say at the beginning of worship, no matter who you are and no matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here, but to be welcoming. Not to just say we love, but to love. I need to put a caveat here. I am a strong believer in fake it till you make it. I think that it works. I think sometimes we can pretend our way into being what we are pretending to be. If you walk around with a smile on your face, you will feel happy eventually. If you walk around saying to people, I'm glad you're here, and pretending that you are glad that they are there, eventually you'll be glad that they're there. If you do loving things, you will find love rising in your heart. But the point is not the appearance. The point is that inside thing. The point is not to look like. The point is to do. The point is to be. The point is not to fake it. The point is to make it. And so that is the work for us. For each and every one of us. For us as a congregation. For us as a church. To take that fierce moral inventory, to take that fearless moral inventory, to look at the insides of us and find those places where we are not who we claim to be, and to clean ourselves, to fix our insides. So that when we say we are welcoming, we are welcoming. So that when we say we are loving. So that when we say we are following the God who is love to new, to abundance, to eternal life, that is what we are doing. Because anything else is just a facade. Anything else is just something that is pretty on the inside and not as pretty on the inside, and people will find out what's on the inside. So here is my ask for this sermon. Here is the thing I am urging for this sermon. Here's the thing that I am hoping for our future, for my future, for everyone's future. That we can look at ourselves with honesty, that we can look at ourselves with grace, that we can look at ourselves with courage, that we can ask who we are and who we want to be, and work towards actually being who we say we are. Because if we can do that, our love will shine through and people will see the truth. And folks will want a piece of that. And more beautifully, as people approach with trepidation, as people approach with caution, as people approach maybe even expecting to be let down, to be burned, to be hurt, to be wounded, they will find what they are looking for. They will find healing. They will find grace. They will find love. And what a wonderful world it will be when everyone, everywhere, no matter who they are, no matter where they are on life's journey, can find love.